Hello, welcome to the Dimp Digital Podcast. We're on episode number 28, and this time you've got myself, Apps, Logan, and Hall. Gents, how we doing?
Hello.
Alright.
Yeah, good.
Superb. Now, before we get into all things video game, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with a pair of you. Last time when we was both on, we was talking about Valve and Bethesda doing the whole mod experiment and the payments for mods, and we was mentioning about season passes and bits of shit like that. We was talking about currency. I noticed that on several conversations, the pair of you were quoting prices in US dollars. So why is that happening?
That ain't happened with me. I don't be interested in dollars.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's evidence of that happening, unfortunately, from both of you. Both
dollars
guilty of it.
for what?
I think you were both saying, I wouldn't mind paying a couple of dollars for that in reference to the mods and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I talk in whatever currency it'll come up as, and because I have .com's easier than .co.uk, most of my stuff's in dollars.
I was just trying to appeal to our friends across the pond.
Well,
no, that's changed quickly.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as he's been caught out, he's like, right, I did do it, and here's why. Here's the reasons why. Anyway, pack it in. Use
Not head illegal
pounds.
for no reason.
Well, that is true. We might be needing your expertise a little bit later on, but British pounds if we can. When you say dollars, it confuses me. That's basically the only reason why. I've got nothing against the Yanks, but using their currency confuses me because it's not just half anymore, is it? It used to be, I'll just half that and it's ours. It's actually not that sort of cut
not
now.
The right ratio.
No, it's not it, and that's not the word either, but we'll move
Conversion.
on. Conversion, that's it. Struggling there. Excellent. Let's move on to delay news. And that
So glad that's become a weekly thing.
Well, no one decided to make the jingle, so that particular effort will stand until...
That's staying.
Yeah, that is staying. There was a couple of reports that surfaced stating that Ubisoft's The Division and Rainbow Six Siege were going to be delayed into next year. Turns out Rainbow Six Siege is coming to us on the 13th of October 2015. So it looks like there was some misreporting there or some confusion maybe. But The Division definitely has been delayed into 2016, which I'm not too surprised about. It seems like quite an ambitious project. Logan, I guess I'll start with you because you're probably quite relieved to hear that Rainbow Six Siege will be coming 2015.
I don't know actually about that.
What do you mean you don't know about that?
There's Payday coming, which I want to play, and then Halo's later this year, isn't it?
I thought you was really up for Rainbow Six.
I am, but it then causes a conflict of and backlogs happen like they've happened now.
The backlogs happen because you don't do anything.
Been doing loads.
You haven't. Don't give me this shit. You and your backlog. It's a lie.
I was livid yesterday. I was playing Football Manager.
Right, that's why you got a fucking backlog. Yeah, you're playing that for 100. How many hours you put into that?
Let's not get into that.
How many hours now?
I don't know.
Roughly.
I haven't got Steam open. More than last time.
Well.
Anyway, and I normally just minimalise it and then just put my laptop to sleep.
Yeah.
And I just beat Real Madrid. And I was livid. But I was just going to bed.
Why are you livid? You just beat Real Madrid?
No. I just beat them.
Yeah.
And instead of pressing sleep, I pressed shutdown. Lost it all.
Lost all the data.
And that's it. I lose motivation to play it for a little while because I think, well, I'm not going over old stuff. So I'll wait until I forget. And then I'll go back to it. No.
Oh, that'll be a reset. Doesn't matter how many seasons. I mean, that is an immediate reset. Well.
Can't do it. But anyway, there's a backlog happening. So.
Okay, well...
I am looking forward to that game. Don't get me wrong, I think it... But yet again, am I just basing that on the fact that I think it's going to be a really good co-op game?
Yeah, and it's not... The thing is, it's co-op... Well, the sounds of things, there's been no confirmation otherwise. It's co-op against other players, so it's still PvP, but you have to work together, so it's no different. It might end up being no different to, say, a Call of Duty style game where you are just playing against 4 other humans. Now, what I'd like is if they brought back... the terrorist hunt from Rainbow Six Vegas, and
I can upload my face,
and you can upload your face. That's all we want out of that, because that would be awesome if it just was free for us taking on like 50 like computer controlled AI. That would be excellent, but I don't know if they're going to add that or not.
Then I think about it and I think, well, why don't we all just get the old one? Get the old one on the 360 and just do it.
Yeah, well, my 360's retired now. It's sitting there.
Recommission it.
No, I don't do that. It's gone now. Leave it in the past. Just draw a line under it.
I'm excited for that game, but once I've got a decent internet connection, I'm looking forward to playing Halo. That is really high on the agenda for me.
Yeah, so that might cost you, because I can't remember the exact release date for Halo, but I'm sure it's in October at some point, so that could be...
that's what I mean.
That's a clash, isn't it? Yeah, get stung out of it. Now, the thing with The Division is, it was shown at E3 last year, and for it now to be 2016, I'm not surprised, but by the time that actually drops, that game, it's going to be like 2 years before from when we first saw gameplay footage. That seems like an excessive amount of time to me for them to have shown it at 2014 E3, going, oh, let's get everyone excited. You think, well, maybe 18 months away, but it's going to be nearer 2 years. Have you looked much into The Division? Is this something that could interest you?
Not particularly.
Is it because it's from Ubisoft and it's only really
that doesn't help? I'm not.
They've taken a dive recently, and they've really been stung out of things.
Yeah, they're certainly not painting themselves in a wonderful light, are they? But no, it's just not one that I've not really been into any of the. It's a Rainbow Six, isn't it? Didn't we say?
So you got the Rainbow Six Siege, which is coming in October, and then the Division separately. I don't, to be honest, I can't really work out what the Division's supposed to be yet. I've not seen enough of it. It seems like it's a...
Just neither of them really bother me. I worry about them when they come out. There's too much other shit going on at the minute.
To be fair, there's no reason for us to be worrying about the Division. It ain't coming for probably another year now, so we've not seen anything new. I don't really know what it is. It looks like it's going to be a big... an attempt at MMO thing. Yeah, it's another one though where they could very easily screw themselves over because, as you said, it's going to be best part of probably 2.5, maybe even 3 years by the time that we first heard about it to when it actually comes out, and that builds up a lot of hype. That means that you've been talking about it for a long time, and when you're delaying it, it's got to be it'll have to come out as a very good, very well polished, very finished game. So it'll be interesting to see what does come out and what kind of critical reviews it gets, because if they fuck it up, then that could be the end of... Well, it could be the final nail in the coffin for Ubisoft. They're not helping themselves in any way, are they? The PR, they're certainly their image is taking a bit of a nosedive. And I think you're right to point out that if things that sit on the shelf that long in development, it does build hype. And you've only got to look at Watch Dogs, which took a long time to come out. And by the time it did come out, because the game was probably first conceived 4 years ago, it was meant to be this next step into the current gen, and it just didn't feel like it felt like an old gen game because the development started on the old console, the old ideas, and they got so far down the line that they can't really go back and change things. And when it came out, it just felt that it didn't hit the high notes I was hoping or expecting it to. And to be fair, Grand Theft Auto 5 come out and just proved that open world games, they are the absolute daddies at, especially if you're going to base it like in a city or whatnot. And it just felt like Grand Theft Auto light, and I mean light, just with the hacking mechanic, which was good, but it wasn't enough to...
It wasn't competing, was it?
No, and plus they had the whole fiasco with them downgrading graphics and whatnot, and it running like shit on the PC. It was a bit of a stinker for those guys. But Rainbow Six Siege, I've still got my eye on. The Division, we'll cross that bridge when we see something new or when they start releasing some more details of it. One thing that is actually also due to come out in 2016 is the Oculus Rift. So that's the virtual reality headset. They released the specs, what you'll need to play it, and you're going to need a decent, if not good, PC gaming rig to play it. It pretty much rules out us three with our... I've got a PC here, but as you will see later on this week when I play The Vanishing of Ethan Carter Let's Play, plug that, it really does struggle to keep up with the pace of that game. And it's a beautiful looking game, but it's developed by an indie studio, and I dread to think what these...
You've got a proper game running on it.
Yeah, through a VR headset, brand new technology, it's just not going to work. I know it will not even connect. Sony have their Morpheus. It's no doubt that'll drop sometime in 2016 as well, because they don't want to get stuck too far behind the curve. If they can get it out shortly after the Oculus Rift, then it'll probably entice PlayStation 4 fans just to hold off going out getting a PC or going out getting an Oculus Rift and seeing what they can churn up. Microsoft don't seem to have anything planned or close to being released. I mean, you've got the augmented reality set that they debuted, and it was debuted at that Windows event, but they don't seem at all close to getting out just a standard VR headset. And maybe they won't bother. I don't know. Or maybe they won't bother with that. If they did announce a VR headset and they got it out, say, mid-2016, Mr. Logan, would that be something you'd be interested in? You wouldn't have to worry about any PCs or specs. Obviously, it'll run on your hardware that the Xbox One's got.
Don't know. It's all dependent on the game.
We've played the Oculus Rift. We've played with it. So imagine it works similar to that, and say, I don't know. It'll be basically, it won't be the game, will it? It'll be this game is compatible with the VR headset that Xbox have got. So
I don't want that.
What do you mean? You want bespoke games?
Yeah, I don't want adaptations. So we went through this before. I don't like the idea of them going, right, well, this was designed for a controller, but we've now bunged a headset on it, deal with it.
Well, no, you still use the controller, don't you? But you've just got the headset on as the screen.
I don't like it.
What about a racing game? That's not got to be... That's not bunged in, is it? That would make it surely much better.
Don't know. I want them to do stuff from scratch. I mean, even at the moment, they're doing stuff and they're trying to adapt it because all they've got. But as we said when we did this before, I kind of like the idea of them going, right, let's do it from a clean slate and
let's make a goat simulator VR only.
It is good, but I don't.
Eyes of a goat.
I do like it, but it has to be the right thing, the right game, and everything at the right price. Everything's got to be right. I don't want to be paying 350 quid for it.
Okay. So what is the price point you'd be happy to pay for one of these bits of kit to take a look at? And not in US dollars. You've done well doing the 300 quid business, so tick there.
I mean, I think probably between 100 and 150 is probably a reasonable ballpark, wouldn't you say? Considering a controller is like 30 or 40 quid.
Yeah,
I suppose
if you're lucky and you find it on offer, they're probably close to 50 if you can go straight to game.
I think VR for me has got to be, everything's got to be right for it, and it's only really that good on a few games at the minute. I don't want to get it and put it on just so that I could play something like Skyrim and just look around with my head. I just think, well, do you know what I mean? Am I just talking shit or what?
But what about stuff like Alien Isolation, which is meant to be ridiculously good on?
I do not want to play it. I don't care.
Yeah, but that's just because you're a puffer. Like, that's nothing to do. Like, you've got to accept that that'd be absolutely amazing through the.
Not for me, so I can't share that. I don't know.
The experience
it was awful
alone,
enough watching it on a screen. So I don't.
We'll get you around here playing PT.
No, you see, that's what I mean. They'll start doing stuff like that.
VR
and then
PT.
They'll forget
they won't, because PT's been
people.
fucking buried by them prats at Konami.
We're not all fucking psychopaths that get something out of this. So for us normal people,
effectively, you're just not going to enjoy the Oculus by the sound of things. Cause
I enjoyed it, but it has to, as I said, show me that it's better. Show me that it's going to make my right. I play first-person shooters mainly, right?
Yeah.
I play first-person. How is that going to really enhance me? How is that going to go right?
That's my point. So you just don't like the idea of the Oculus?
I do like the idea of it
because you're just not going to use it.
I really enjoyed doing that jetpack game, but half hour of that, and I'm like, right, we're on board now.
You can't remember it.
Move me on.
Deary me. Well,
I think everyone's got this ideal thing in their head about how this is going to work. And it ain't going that way. So forget that.
Well, they ain't coming to Xbox One, so neither of you two are going to get it unless you both invest in a PC rig. I've only got the option of the Morpheus if that comes out next year. The Oculus is something that we're all going to have to sit on the sidelines and wait for, which isn't a bad thing because this is a big step, and I don't expect it to work straight away. And there's going to be, fantastic games that are compatible with it. It's going to take a while.
I don't see myself jumping straight in. I don't. It's not saying I'm going to be looking at getting in the first 6 months of release. I don't think.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going on with it. I don't be trusting that it's going to work properly, and for some reason I foresee teething problems and all sorts going on with it. Wow. So I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, Hall, you're one for getting all the technology and getting all the new things on release if you can. If there was a price point that met your demands for an Xbox console.
Oh yeah, I'd get it. I'd like to get the Oculus, to be honest. I think it's. I have no objection to them just changing games to make them fit the Oculus. Like, I think that stuff like Alien Isolation, like maybe not racing games, because I think it'd be a bit too. I think the thing is, I'm not sure the technology will be able to cope with it immediately. Racing games are quite quick, so like your surroundings seem to be changing quite quickly.
Why would you want it on a racing game?
Because you can sit in the cockpit, and then that's one thing where you'll be sitting in a chair, and it would actually probably. And you say if it's a steering wheel in front of you, that's the most immersion
you can look to the left and the right out of like out your windows and stuff for cars coming up the side of you and stuff. And you can look in your mirrors. I get that, but I like to say
total immersion.
I think that it will struggle because.
I'm sure they've had games. I'm sure people have had games and it's working fine with races.
I'm sure it has, but I'm a bit sceptical of that to begin with. Like I say, I'm more inclined towards, like the detective look around games, potentially even first person shooters when you're looking around to kind of gauge what's going on. So if the opportunity arose, yes. But that said, I'm certainly not going to be buying a brand new PC plus the Oculus for probably what is going to be in the region of maybe £1,000 to £1,200 to get the whole lot together.
Yeah, probably.
It's not going to happen to start with.
No. So I guess it's all for you two. It hinders on Microsoft producing something which we've yet to see. We've only seen the augmented version, which was at the Windows event and not necessarily built for the Xbox One. So it might be that it's a long way away where it doesn't happen.
I'm more inclined to buy a PS4 and the Morpheus than I am to buy a PC and the Oculus.
No, that's a fair enough point. It's not going to cost as much. You wouldn't have thought,
and the thing is, I'll get more use out of a PlayStation than I would do out of a gaming
PC.
Yeah, it would be a package deal, wouldn't it? Let's move on. I mean, that's something that's coming. I'm sure we'll get more details as that nears to its actual release, and there'll be people going out grabbing these things, and I'm sure Dave will eventually end up with one, so maybe I'll try and get round his, or you get him on to chat about what he thinks of the Rift and how it is, and we can find out for real. You've had a few announcements and little mini reveals over the last couple of weeks as well. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. That's how we talk with English Sterling. Anyway, that's been announced. There was a leak that came out a few months ago about a caterer that took a picture of a logo or some bullshit, and I was like, right, that's clearly happened at some point. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Now I know there's been more than 5 of them because we had Underground, didn't we? We had like a spin-off.
Tony Hawk's Underground, Tony Hawk's Underground 2,
3? Tony
Hawk's Alpha 8.
Yeah, something else like Ride and Rip or some bullshit.
Some downhill shit.
Yeah,
loads of stuff.
So this looks like, from what I've seen, the screenshots and what the details they've put out, it's going to be more back to sort of Pro Skater 4, 3, 2, 1, that sort of area. But what concerned me, and there's a quote that I picked out, and it's going to, they said Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is going to feature power-ups and the ability to shoot projectiles for specific missions.
Yeah.
Now, Hall, you were an avid skateboarder and an avid fan of the old, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk. What does this mean for you? Is this?
I think they've done the right thing with it in that they are going back to. The thing is, the skate games came out.
They were fucking awesome. I love them.
Well, the thing was, right, you had Tony Hawk's 1, 2, and 3, which were all amazing. Then they did, I think, Underground 1.
Yeah, they did.
And they tried to make it a little bit more realistic, so you could pick up your board and you could climb on shit and you could run around and whatever else. And it was, it was a little bit harder to land stuff and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then Skate came out and they were like, no, if you want to do it realistically, this is how you fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it just completely blew it away. And then from there, Tony Hawk's kind of just faded off and went a bit downhill because I think they went in the wrong direction with it, where they were trying to compete with Skate, when in reality what they needed to do was go, actually, if you want a realistic skateboarding game, then yeah, fine, that's them. But we're going to have one where you can do fucking grinds on telegraph wires and, wall ride up the side of a building and the rest of it. Yeah, I used to like being able to do like a 900 off a bridge and land on the top of a lorry and do a grind along it.
And then easy backflip off that and then revert manual.
Exactly,
handstand.
And you'd end up doing 3 minutes of just one trick and you'd end up with some obscene score. Like, I liked that about it, and I think that they've done the right thing with the projectiles and everything, that they're going back to a more kind of, like you say, an arcadey kind of version with it rather than anything too serious.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll get it because
it's due out this year, which I was surprised at.
It's just a bit. I just don't really need it in my life,
I mean, I know I spent hundreds of hours across the first 3. You've probably spent hundreds of hours across the first 3 plus Underground, and it's nice going back to have that feeling of playing those games. But sometimes you think, right, I want to move on now. Once I played Skate, I found it difficult to go back and play.
Tony Hawk's. Yeah, exactly.
It's something new and fresh, and it was, like you said, more realistic. I know a lot of people had problems with it and they didn't like it. They said it was too hard or whatever. But
it's because people were shit.
Yeah, exactly. It was a skill game at the end of the day, wasn't it? It was satisfying mastering how to do all the different tricks and whatnot, and that's where
absolutely.
the gameplay was at.
I loved it. It was a really good game, especially as, like you said, I mean, we used to do a bit of skating, me more so than you, but
yeah, I was awful.
But like the thing with the skate games as well, you had the ability to like film yourself and film tricks and bits and pieces, and it just kind of brought it all home, because that's exactly what we were doing, just filming shit tricks and trying to make a decent video out of it, etc. Yeah,
that's it. Logan, do you ever play a Tony Hawk's game back in the day? Because they were popular even among non-skaters.
Yeah, I played them on the PS1.
Yeah.
I liked them. I used to really enjoy them. And I used to play it around a couple of people's on the PS2 as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really played much Skate or anything. I was always on Tony Hawk's. And yeah, I loved the nonsense of it. I think it's just sort of like you can do all sorts of stupid stuff, and as I say, I'm not into that much. I know sort of the basic tricks and stuff, but I don't really know them all. So I just like to have a little piss around with it and sort of do stupid stuff, grind everything. And I used to like doing all the finding of stuff and just exploring all the maps and stuff. So yeah, it was good. So I think that's good news. I'm quite looking forward to something like that. I haven't really had a skate game. I didn't ever get one on the PS, the Xbox 360. So it's been years since I played one.
No, yeah, I mean, it was that might be it interest you then, because maybe it'll fill that gap. Whereas I think me and Hall played it so much that enough was enough for that type of game, and I think that's the feeling we get. Interesting to see when that drops. So it's due later on this year on pretty much all platforms. I think even last gen as well. So it'll be in and around that rush, which probably means a no for Logan straight away because of the insane
backlog.
The backlog that will no doubt build up with 2 games.
Both games, yeah.
Bloodborne have announced they're going to be doing an expansion. So not really surprising considering it's been quite a big success for Sony.
Popularity of it, yeah.
I imagine they wanted that. And what I like, I mean, I'll be happily corrected wrong here, but I don't remember them plugging any expansion pre-release, which
they obviously had it in the pipeline though.
Well, did they though? You think it's been out since what, April now? It's about, I left it a good. Is it April? I can't remember when it came out now. Was it earlier than that?
It's only May.
It's only May. Yeah, well, it's still a month and a half.
6 weeks.
Yeah, but most people, you've got to pre-order the season pass.
Right, you're doing a haul. What haul does with Destiny?
I haven't played it. I don't know if it's any good yet. I'm just saying. My point is,
really
I don't remember them
early stance.
I don't remember them plugging the expansion pre-release.
No, I don't think they did.
No, which is good. I want more of this. Less of these expansions being pushed, or some sort of season pass being pushed before the game's already out. I was already sick of it last week. So this is good. I'm glad. At least they're trying to hide. If they had it set up, fine. But at least they hid it from us and didn't go, yeah, look, we've got this ready. You ain't having it, though. It makes it feel like they're actually going to work on this over the next few weeks and put it out. Probably not, but at least they've tried.
I don't know. I don't understand the logic here. I don't get that at all.
What don't you understand?
I don't understand the difference between saying, yeah, we've got some, or not mentioning it.
Because they're not trying to make you buy it before you buy the actual full game. So this feels like they've done the game, finished it, worked hard on it, done, and then as it's been post-release, they've gone, right, this is
now we can focus on finishing off that DLC that we were thinking about.
Not that they've stripped stuff away. It's what we were talking about last week. When you've got a season pass, you think, right, that sounds like it's just been cut out of the full game, and then you're being made to pay for more. This was a complete game finished, done, and this is going to be a separate thing that will expand on it.
I'm not convinced that.
So you want more season passes? You want more expansion passes?
What I'm saying is,
before the games come out, is that what you're after? Is that what
I'm not convinced anymore that an expansion pass is optional. Does that make sense?
Well, so, for this game, you didn't. I don't. Yeah, but it's 50 hours on its own. You don't need.
You'll be sitting there playing that and going, right, what else is there going on then?
Yeah, well, you can say that about anything.
What are you talking about?
It's like. Of course, if the option's there to do extra stuff, you're going to go, oh, I wonder what that extra stuff is. But you don't have to do it. Like
the fact is, most people have bought Bloodborne, finished it by now, So they're not sitting there going, "Oh, when's that expansion?" They didn't even know it was coming out, and now they've gone, right, here you go. This is coming. Buy it if you want. If not, trade it in. Sick of it.
You've fallen into a psychological ploy, but let's move on.
Oh, I think you're an idiot, and we'll come on to why you're an idiot probably later on when we find out your Destiny exploits.
The backlog.
Yeah, the backlog.
Right, Paul, you can literally say nothing at the minute, considering your current state of affairs.
Hall's getting through his backlog. He's playing Child of Light today. Let's talk about Child of Light, Hall. Any good?
Yeah, good game. Good game. Enjoyable. Not the longest, but then I got it free, so you know you can't really moan.
What is it? A platformer? I mean, I've only seen screenshots and videos of it.
No, it's like
blown it already, haven't I? Bloody hell!
It's a Final Fantasy style turn-based RPG.
Oh, I was not expecting that. That's poor on my behalf.
It's quite good fun though. It's basically you play as a little girl who is whose father, or she gets like taken and sent into some separate realm away from the world of her father, and then her father gets sick because she's not nearby, so she's fighting to get back to her dad. And yeah, you just kind of following her through and helping out the folk of this different world that you've been transported to. And like I say, just kind of fighting your way through, blah 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 blah. You know, typical kind of RPG bits and pieces, but you know, it's got a level up system and all the usual bits and pieces. You can get like different shards that upgrade your weapons and stuff. So, but yeah, it's a good game. It didn't take me sort of ages to complete. It's probably 7 or 8 hours of solid play.
That's decent.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I've got one more achievement to get the 1000G on it. So
yeah,
I'll probably hopefully get that before the end of the weekend. But yeah, it's good. I've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it. It's been very a pleasant surprise considering some of the free garbage that Xbox has been giving out over the last few months. So yeah, no, I've liked it.
Superb. So if you're out there, you've got that sitting in your library. By the sounds of things,
get playing.
Go out there and play it. Give it a go. Need for Speed Underground free. One of EA's mini franchises. They've had a trailer come out. It wasn't a trailer. It's 30 seconds. So I don't count that. But that's been announced. They're reviving that particular spin-off of the Need for Speeds. I personally have never really got into Need for Speed. For some reason, Logan, I imagine you would like them, but that could be a massive misjudgment on my case. It seems like you're sort of street racing, thinking you were cool in your car business.
I don't really know where I sit with it at the minute.
So you've played the past Need for Speeds?
Yeah. I don't really know where I sit with my want from a driving game at the minute.
You can't believe it, can you? After being stunned out of Project Cars, being a free runner, that's really hurt you.
I don't know.
That's knocked your confidence back. I think they should just bin Need for Speed because I really enjoyed Burnout. I don't know if anyone ever played that series.
Yeah.
Arcade race. I'm not really into, but that I fucking loved. It was I thought it was a great game. I can't get enough of playing some Burnout, but it looks like they're going down the Need for Speed route. It's probably it is a more established franchise. There's been a fucking film made about it, for God's sake. Ark Survival Evolved. Trailers dropped. Good
dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs. A good sort of 3-4 minutes long. They must have listened to the last podcast because we asked for aliens. Logan asked for robots. And
no, I suggested robots. Don't be taking my robot idea away from me.
I thought it was awful. I was going to give him some more abuse, but you can have that. But anyway, dinosaurs is one of them that we suggested, and we've got dinosaurs. We have got dinosaurs.
Yes.
Now, the only concern I have with this is that we've over the last 3 years, there's been loads of first-person survival games, mainly with zombies, I must admit. So since DayZ took off, all you see now on Steam Early Access is the next survival game, first person, be it Rust, be it DayZ standalone, be it War Z, be it wherever it is. There's lots of these floating around. I'm just a bit worried that this will be one of those games that sits in Early Access for God knows how long and never comes out. But it's got dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
Surely that has got to be a plus point for it. It's going to Early Access on June the 2nd in Steam, and it's due to come out on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. No concrete release date. Jurassic World is out this summer as well. Could this be the time for the dinosaurs to rule the gaming world again?
Dinosaurs.
You ever play Turok Core? I can imagine that being one of the
Love
games
Turok, mate. Amazing set of games.
And what was that on the 64? Did you have?
Yes, I had Turok 2, Dinosaur Hunter, and I had Turok Rage Wars, and they were both fucking awesome.
So why do you think that dinosaurs have dropped off the game radar? Because everyone loves them. I think they're hard to do. I think that's one point. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I think they're probably riding on the back of the new Jurassic World film coming out a little bit.
Yeah,
it's all timing, isn't it? It's all timing. Like we said, I mean, the zombie theme at the minute, people are just obviously going to jump on top of it. So it's no surprise really that we're seeing a lot of zombie, like everyone's doing that at the moment. And now that Jurassic World, like I say, that's coming out, hopefully they're obviously sort of thinking, well, we'll have a slice of that action as well. I mean, Turok came out at the time of Jurassic Park 2, I want to say, and potentially Jurassic Park 3. It was the late 90s anyway. So probably I think that was kind of timed in with that. And then, like I say, it just depends on the trends of the time, doesn't it? I mean, it's not surprising that we're starting to see Marvel games and bits and pieces coming out at the minute. So we'll have to wait and see. But
that Batman game after the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Or
and
pumped
up. We're going to have the new one come out soon as well.
Exactly, yeah. So
it's all about film, isn't it, and television, and what's flavour of the month.
So going back to zombies, I know we mentioned it last time, but I've got a theory on why zombies are so popular.
Go on, then.
Not just for The Walking Dead, but I think that it could be down just because it must be the easiest piece of AI to script in the entire world, because they are essentially mindless grunts that just walk towards you or run, and when they get there,
there's no real squabble at you.
There's no intelligence you've got to build into them, is there? They don't need to run for cover. They don't need to judge the situation. As soon as they see you, they just run at you.
Yeah, true.
That is all you've got to do. And maybe it's just a cheap way of getting AI out there and just using them as fodder for you to progress the game.
Can't be that much harder for stuff like dinosaurs, though.
No. Yeah, well, you'd want them all to act differently. Like, you wouldn't want a Triceratops acting like a T-Rex going mental. You'd want there to be some sort of boundaries for different dinosaurs.
Comes up and nuzzles at you, just like...
Yeah, you wouldn't want that. And I've seen even in this one, like, they seem to have to tame the dinosaurs on Ark, so you can actually tame them and ride them. And at the end of the trailer, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a great big fucking dragon there.
Yeah.
Dragons as well, they've got it all.
Not fucking around.
Yeah.
The zombies coming out of the ground.
If they put zombie
dinosaurs.
Zombie dinosaurs, good God. It's not far away, is it?
No.
I'm looking forward to... Well, I'm not looking forward to it. It looks good, but every trailer looks good until...
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they make of it.
Yeah, because I think it said 2nd of June it'll be in early access. I think there's 30 or so dinosaurs that will be released. It's meant to be 70 odd when the final game ships, but...
Playable characters. DLC dinosaurs.
No, don't. Please don't. Well, as long as they announce it afterwards, I don't care, do I? That's a flawed logic, according to Logan. Let's get on to the big one. Destiny has released its second... And not I don't think it's the final expansion pass, but it's part of the pre-release expansion pass. House of Wolves. This will set you back £20, or if you bought the expansion pass, obviously it's £35 for both, and that included the Dark Below. Hall, you are probably Destiny's biggest fan in this group. How is this second piece of DLC?
I do not have it yet.
Why has that happened?
I mean, well, have
you had an epiphany and gone, I don't need to play this anymore?
No, the urge is still there, but I'm toning it back just purely because I had to commit so much to it. I went a bit mental on it, where it was like I had to play it every day. Like, I went away on holiday and I had to ring home and tell Sandy to do something whilst I was away, because there's a guy that's only around at the weekend, that kind of extortionate of it. So
what do you mean? What, she had to log on and do something in the game for you?
Yeah. Can't afford to miss it, mate. It's important.
God. Right.
I kind of said to myself, right, tone it back a bit, because I wanted to do Rayman, I wanted to do Child of Light,
and that was getting in the way.
I wanted to do Assassin's Creed Black Flag to 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do to finish off, and I just thought, rather than, because otherwise I'll just sit on Destiny.
That's incredible. That's incredible. You got to do what you got to do, though.
Yeah, but it does look very good. I did some of basically what they do in kind of like a build up to it is they released a few bounties that you could do in the days building up to the release, and basically you did them, and if you did them and collected certain bits and pieces, then that gave you stuff to do with the expansion. So it would sort of open up bits and pieces to you once the expansion was released. So they build the hype to make sure that everyone's playing it like nuts for the days leading up to the expansion release as well. So they once again, you got to hand it to them. They have done a good job of marketing it, and the release has gone very smoothly by the sounds of things. I know that everyone's still back on it and playing it. I think the big thing about it now is that whereas initially when Destiny came out, everyone bought it. 50% of people that had it went, "Oh, this is brilliant. This is a really good game." 50% of the guys said, "Well, this isn't what they advertised. This isn't what I want out of this game. This is shit. I hate this." And it kind of split people down the middle, and now it's that much further on where all the people that have initially said I hate it have stopped playing it. So now most of the reviews and most of the feedback that you see of it online is people saying, well, this is fucking amazing, because it's the people that culture it's the people that loved it when it initially came out. I don't think anyone's view has been changed by the expansions. I just think that people have kind of accepted it for what it is, and you know, those that, like I say, the hardcore ones that liked it from the start have just stuck with it. So
that's sweet. So Logan, you've actually gone out and bought the House of Wolves, and you've played it for a little while. What's your initial thoughts on it? Because I know there's a big hoo-ha there not being a new raid. I've got the right one, haven't I? Raid not being in this. So you've got the new social in the Reef and a few other bits and pieces, story missions and whatnot. From your initial hour or few hours, what's your initial sort of feedback for this particular piece of DLC?
It's just more of the same, really, at the minute.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're a fan.
No, it's just the game essentially is you just go through it, kill pretty dumb AI enemies. Zombies. And they absorb all your bullets, you kill them and you get a reward. It's Destiny. It's what it is.
It is what it is.
You get a bounty to kill someone, you go and kill him, you get a reward. But I'm not that fussed about there not being another raid. That hasn't really bothered me that much. But
new planet you were after, weren't you?
Yeah, that was what I wanted, and I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation. But when you consider it's cost them $500 million to get in the planets that they already had, maybe I'm expecting a bit too much for another planet. It's going to cost them another 150 million or something stupid to plough into it. But I don't know. It's all right. I've done one mission, and they've, by the looks of it, put a lot more what I'd call yellow enemies in it, so they're a bit more difficult than your standard red enemies, if you like. But it's just at the moment more of the same. I suppose when I get to the end of it and I can do the horde mode, basically,
you've got to work your way towards that, have you?
Essentially,
you've got to unlock it.
I guess so. I haven't been to look to do it, but I did one mission yesterday and unlocked a new gun which is instantly got 331 damage on it, so they're giving it away.
Literally are giving it away.
I mean, the new reef area looks alright. They've basically made the tower redundant because you can kind of do all your tower bounties and everything there. The cryptarch's there, so
is it just a new skin, or
it looks
new stuff that you can do there?
Not really, no. It's
just a ball there to kick around, because
I haven't seen a ball either. No,
that could be a disaster.
It's pretty basic, but it's Destiny. The way it's made, you've really got to have it. Otherwise, you just can only get to a certain point. They've introduced a couple of different features as well. Like when I first went on there, if you've got exotic shards, for example, I can just go and straight upgrade my armor. I don't have to faff around with it. I can just get it, and for an exotic shard, I can just fully upgrade it. Done. So they've introduced a few bits like that, and there's another material, I can't think what it's called now, but you can do that, and you can upgrade weapons and raid gear and stuff. So
sort of streamlined it a little bit more, have they?
Yeah, to stop, because obviously you need to get up to the high levels a bit quicker now to be able to do it. They've actually, rather than making you grind away, you can buy the materials, or if you've already got them stocked up, then you can just go away and do it.
Okay, it sounds like they've made some change for the better there then.
Yeah, I think after I've done this after I've probably done the horde bit, I kind of see the game done for me.
Yeah.
I don't.
What if they done another few expansion passes though? Like maybe they did a new planet with a new raid, new strike, new missions.
Maybe. I think after this though, I'd want a little bit of a break from it and then come back to it maybe in a couple of months. I think that's what I'd like to do. I don't necessarily think that games have to keep extending their longevity. I'm quite happy for them to have a little break and then come back with some more. I think they'd get some more audience back than, because obviously Hall has been absolutely grinding away to a point now where he can't really be asked with the DLC. So I think that maybe if they did a little bit of a break on it and went away and did a new planet, but then they've got to incorporate some sort of story.
Yeah, which is costly.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they got to really bother. From what I played through the stories.
Oh, we've got a new enemy. Oh, they're on Mercury.
Yeah. Well, I obviously I bought the vanilla game a few weeks back, £15, so bargain prices. I powered through the story campaign with you pair. Done a few grinding sessions with Hull, and I think I'm a few levels short to be able to tackle the raid that you get in just the bog standard game. And you know, my opinion on the game is that it looks great. It's a fantastic looking game for what it is. One of the best out there. The shooting mechanics are as solid as you're going to find in any shooter out there, especially in the sci-fi remit. The variety isn't there though, and the story, which I like in my games, isn't there. And the AI seems a little bit content just to be fodder a lot of the time. I just feel like I've paid £15 for a virtual chat room, because what I noticed the other night when we was playing is that I wasn't actually concentrating at all what was going on the screen, and I was just talking to you lot, having a laugh, and my enjoyment was coming out of chatting to you pair of clowns, which is a tragic state of affairs.
Well, you've got to remember though, you're doing it with us, and we were just kind of trying to get you leveled up.
But even at the beginning, I remember I was concentrating for a little while, but then soon after that, I was more content on trying to annoy Logan with the Sparrow, or push people, or run in front of people's rockets, or that was all my aim was. And I was literally just the communication between us is what I was actually enjoying out of it, and I was subconsciously not even switched on to what was going on the screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the whole purpose of the raids on it, though. You can't really get away with being like that doing the raids, because they are quite demanding. So I don't know, maybe we just need to get you to put a little bit more in just to get up to that. But
I know that's what I want to get to, and then I'll be happy to finish it probably. But it's only 2 raids as it is, isn't there? Was there 3? I mean,
2 raids.
2. So again, once you've done those 2 once, obviously you can go back and do them, and it'll probably be slightly different, but it'll be the same sort of stuff. And I don't know, it's good for what it is. Like socially, it's not. It reminds me of like playing Call of Duty 4. We used to play that every night. We were there mainly to just talk to each other and have a laugh in and around the game, without really. I certainly wasn't concentrating because I wasn't very good. But I don't know. I think to come out and charge £50 for it to start with, and then another £35 for 2 expansion passes is a little bit criminal, because the vanilla game that I've played through, and granted I'm not at the level where I can actually do the raid yet, but I think I've played about 9.5 hours there, and that's the only thing that's left to do for me. And the only way to get there is for me to replay old missions and hope I get the correct armour that gives me some light ranking. Other than that, there's not really a lot else for me left to do.
I think that kind of shows what the game's about, though, isn't it? Because like you've put 9.5 hours in, and I've put in, 550.
What?
It's just
is that real?
Yeah, that's what I'm at now. What?
Oh god, that is horrendous.
That's what it is, mate.
No, it is what it is. Fine.
That's what happens.
Jesus Christ.
So
I must admit, I am with apps on it though. I don't ever I very rarely played it myself, just on my own. I'll turn the Xbox on, I'll have a look, see if anyone's about. If no one's about, I might do one strike quickly or something, and then I'll just go, right, done. I won't bother, because otherwise half or most of the fun is taken out of it for me by not talking to anyone. There's nothing else to engage me. I've done the missions so many times, I don't even really pay attention to them anymore. I just go through the motions on them, because I'm trying to get loot and things and upgrade materials and stuff. I'm not really paying much attention. Like, I was paying attention, and I was a little bit irked. The first mission on the new DLC is the same as one of the old missions, but you're actually just going backwards. Like, you're going backwards through the map that you'd normally go forwards on. And I was like, all right, okay, that's just... But it annoys me they haven't used some of the other areas. There are other areas which aren't used that much in the missions and the strikes. So then use them areas so they at least seem a little bit fresh. Like, they're just... one of the missions I've done, I think it's Archon Priest mission. And you know, Hall, where you've got to defeat those waves, you've got Praetorians, is it? No, Minotaurs, and then...
fucking wizards.
Yeah, you've that bit there. You just go back through it, but the other way. And I was like, well, that's a little bit lazy. I don't know. I was just sort of a bit. And even when I was doing that, I was just sort of like, right, well, I've been here before. I'll kill. There's a couple of new enemies in the DLC that I haven't seen before, and I got stunned a couple of times by some mines and stuff. And I was sort of a bit like, oh, but it's just the same stuff. I'm just shooting them, killing them, moving on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's millions of people out there like Hall that are loving it.
I do love it. No.
Popular.
I do love it, but I don't love it on my own. It's hard to explain.
I understand. It's a social game.
But like, I was a bit of the same with Call of Duty, but I played Call of Duty a bit by myself because I knew I was levelling up. I was getting XP for every game I was getting.
That's the music, wasn't it? When you'd level up.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That was good. Good, like, little metal music. That was rewarding to me. I used to like that noise. That little jingle. I don't know. I think just to finish up on it. I mean, I think that it's once it's on the raid, I'll probably maybe play it a little bit, but I won't be playing it because I want to play Destiny. It'll be more because I want to either annoy one of you two or just have a chat with one of you two about whatever and work around. Like, and I feel like they spread themselves a little bit too thin with Destiny. They tried to make it all encompassing, and it's really good in some areas. Like the actual game itself is very, very good.
It's crisp on it, but
there's other areas where it's just they haven't given it as much care and attention because they've been trying to cater for this new style of games. I've not really played a game like this before, and it's probably what an MMO on the PC is like, but very light. It's probably very similar to that.
Literally, all I wanted with it from it, really, I thought it was going to be more MMO-y, if you like, than it actually is. Like, it's an MMO, but it's not. Like, I can't just go around and do missions with people, really. I've got to go to the tower, and if I want to do missions with people, I've got to, like, fucking harass them or try and invite them to a... It's just no quick way to get to do stuff. Like, there's no meeting point, and you can't just wander around and kill. It's not MMO-y enough. No. And
it's got elements of it, but
it's sort of like a halfway house.
Yeah, I think I get the feeling of that as well.
So as much as I love it, also it's a missed opportunity as well, I think. But it's the first of its kind, if you like.
Sure,
there's not really an MMO that's been released on a console, so it's the first sort of entry into that. Yeah. So let's hope that they double the budget for Destiny 2 and absolutely plough $1 billion into it, and it's the best game that's ever come out.
To be fair, this Activision, obviously they own a part of Blizzard as well, but combined, I think Hearthstone and Destiny and some of their other assets have made like $1 billion this first quarter. So
ridiculous.
That is silly money. So that $500,000 is probably a drop in the ocean to them. But it's out there now, and I'm wondering whether they'll continue expanding on Destiny, or whether they'll look and turn their attention towards what we expect to be Destiny 2, which may be sometime next year or 18 months time. But
Destiny 2, 18 months, please.
Yeah. Going back to your point, it is the first of its kind. You've only got to really go back and look at what Grand Theft Auto the original looked like compared to how it's come over its iterations. I mean, I know there's technical restrictions there, but series like that, and when they're doing something new, do take a long time sometimes to resonate with people and get the balance right, because it is something that's quite new that a lot of console games especially probably haven't experienced before.
Yeah. And so just the last word, I think it's worth pointing out they do listen to the community and they are aware. So, for example, the biggest criticism of Destiny is that the AI is a bit thick and that they're just bullet sponges. Yeah, that's all. So they said, right, the main reason why I think they didn't bring out a new raid is because they went, right, well, we're not going to give you another bullet sponge. Sure. Like, there's no point. We'll give you something different to do. And as far as I understand, for example, on the Horde mode, you'll have a wave of enemies that are susceptible to arc damage, and then the next one you'll get will be susceptible to solar. So you've actually got to take a range. You've got to get a range of weapons with different burns on to be able to successfully kill them and stuff. And I think that's a better idea, but again, it's still limited. But at least you don't just have to go in there with your most powerful weapon and just let off at it with a Gallahorn and hang. Yeah, so it makes it, they are listening, and I think they are open to what the gamers have actually got to say about it and what they want, which is a good sign, rather than just going, oh, if you don't like it, fuck off. So
yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that, so that's obviously something that's in place. Just quickly, in maybe one or two sentences, do the pair of you feel like the expansion pass, that £35 or £20 singularly, have been worth it? So I'll go with you, Logan, first.
I think for the first part it was worth it. I don't feel like, from my initial feelings of the second bit, it was worth it, if that makes sense. So the first bit, the Crota raid, I think is brilliant. I think it's so enjoyable. It's such a good raid. I think it's better than the Vault of Glass. So I think that was, but this new Horde mode, I need to get to it and play it.
Sure. Okay, that's probably not fair then to ask you, because that's probably one of the main features of it, one of the big, draw-ins. All quickly. I mean, you've played only the first one, so probably was £20 worth the...
See, I disagree with Logan. I actually thought that Crota wasn't that great.
Well,
I thought that was actually a much worse raid than the Vault of Glass. But, I mean, you know my feelings on it. I obviously love the game, and I'm happy that I paid the money for the extra bits and pieces. The only criticism that I've really got about it is just that I still think they could have maybe just released just a little bit more at a time.
So rather than wait sort of 6 months or whatever,
I'd rather have it all in one blob than
every month or so. What do you mean?
Well, I'd rather just like the House of Wolves and the Crota. Neither one of them has been like a particularly. I know the game wasn't that big to start with, I suppose, but
not substantial enough.
It just feels like they could have done them both at once, and
charged one for it.
Yeah, I don't mind paying £80 for a game, so like. No, because, I mean, realistically, like I say, that's just a move on from previous consoles and bits and pieces, I mean, I said before that the N64 games used to be, like, £50 a go.
Yeah.
So I can't really moan. But
no, I'm quite old school. I like old. I don't like this progression to more expensive stuff. Like, I like old
one
school.
Price. Done.
I like the £40 price point. I mean, I know with the new generation it tends to go to 50 for a while, and then slowly people come down.
I ain't paying 50. I refuse to ever pay that.
No, 45 tops. If I haven't got a choice.
No, I've got a price, £44 in my head. That is it. I will not go higher. I don't know why. That's it.
But you've paid.
No.
How much have you paid for the Destiny combined now? Then what was the? You paid 35 for the expansion pass, and then how much for the game? 40.
It was probably. I always get them from the supermarket, and they're always like $39.97 or whatever. So.
That's a good
This ain't been it. What I'm saying is, DLC is not counted in the overall price. But I will not pay for the disc. I will not pay more than £44.
Fine.
That's what my brain says.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, that's. I think it should all be like that. And moving on to what I think's we've only got a few minutes left, but I'll quickly just run through the Witcher 3 was obviously out. And speaking of my perception of what a game should be these days, and I don't like this modern shift towards paying lots of money. The Witcher 3's got decent reviews. I say decent, pretty good reviews. I've played a handful of hours of it. Early impressions are very positive. I will get it stuck into that a lot more over the next few days and come back with my thoughts. It'll probably be on the next podcast with some other guys that have played it. But I thought I'd mention that CD Projekt Red, who are the developers, seem to be in the same time warp as me, where they don't really want to try and fleece you for every penny you've got. So in the standard edition of the game, it came with a Witcher lore booklet, which is handy because I've never played it, so I like to read up on all that shit. Some stickers. No one wants stickers, but they're in there. There's some wolf stickers in there which link into the game. The official soundtrack, which is 20
as opposed to the unofficial soundtrack.
Yeah, why do they always say that? That's mental. I never thought of that. That is craziness. That's what they've called the official soundtrack. And best of all, you won't believe this, it came with a fucking game manual.
Oh.
An actual game manual.
I love that.
Okay, it's not the best manual I've ever seen. It's not like the old school thick booklets we used to get. But
Still, though.
it's the first time in ages that I've had a game that's come with a game manual. And we haven't got to go on the internet. If you want to go to the game manual, go to www. Download the PDF. Piss off. Also, yeah, it's great. I was loving that. It felt old. I was like, this is brilliant. It gets a 10 out of 10 just for that.
Yeah.
Day one DLC. Yeah. Day one DLC they put in, so there was some new armour, hairstyles, even added some new quests. I don't know why they were bothering to work on that afterwards. Regardless of how good the game is, I love the principles that they've set, and I love the principles they've set, and it's fantastic, but that's poor in itself. I think this should be the norm rather than the exception. And the fact that I've had to dedicate a couple of minutes there going through that to call these out or make it obvious, I think tells a story there. I would prefer if all games did this, but it seems like they're few and far between. Last headline bit of news, and then we'll wrap this up. Rockstar Games have launched a lawsuit against BBC for their attempts to make this 90-minute dramatisation based on the Grand Theft Auto series. I think it was called Game Changers, what they'll pen it as. It's Take-Two, who actually own Rockstar, that are spearheading this particular lawsuit. But when we discussed this a little while back, Hall, you were a tad concerned that the dramatisation might paint gaming or the game in a negative light. And do you think this is what Take-Two and Rockstar have potentially foreseen and gone, right, we're not happy about this?
I don't really know. I don't know what their objection. The thing is, until we find out exactly what their objection is about, it's difficult to comment. But
put your neck on the line.
Yes, I think that's probably what it's about, if I'm honest. Yeah. I can't without any other knowledge of it, I can't think of anything else that there'd be a massive objection to.
No.
I don't see why else they would be that worried.
No. I don't think. Yeah, exactly. I think this is because it's based around this controversy of the hot coffee mod. I think they've probably thought, right,
that's probably
that wasn't our finest moment. We don't really want that getting out there in the wrong way. We want it to be, factually correct, I guess, is a way to look at it and make sure they've got a handle on it, but we'll see. Logan, you're our legal expert here. What can we expect in the next sort of few? Is this something that's going to be long and drawn out, or what's going to happen here?
It's hard to say, but intellectual property is something that is unable to be tangible. So you've got a wardrobe, that's proper. Intellectual property is something that isn't physical, so i.e. copyrights and things like that. So it's obviously what they're saying is it's potentially damaging to their trademark of Grand Theft Auto or Rockstar in general.
Yeah.
So, as I say, it's a bit. They're obviously concerned that something's coming out which is going to be damaging to their brand essentially, is what we're saying. But there is also the well-known saying that there is no such thing as bad publicity.
Well,
so one would say, am I going to stop playing Grand Theft Auto, or am I not going to get the next one that comes out because of some mod? Or do you know what I mean? It seems a bit. I personally think it sounds a bit petty.
Yeah.
Because who's to say? It's supposed to be a BBC documentary that is factually correct. Am I right?
It's dramatisation. No, so it's an actual 90-minute drama. So it's gonna. It's like one of those ones that says based on true events.
It's going to be hard because first thing you got to do is define what the intellectual property is in this case, and secondly how it's infringed that intellectual property. So it's going to be probably quite long and drawn out. I don't expect we'll see it on TV until such point as this case has been resolved, if we see it at all. As a matter of fact.
So could Rockstar say, or Take-Two should I say that you can't use the term Rockstar Games or Grand Theft Auto in your program? Could they go as far to stop them from referring to the game or the company?
Essentially, yeah, I think so, yeah. But they could also say that because if they call it something similar, but say from Blockstar Games or something, for example, that's still
no, that's good.
Yeah, so they could still go, right, well, that's clearly meant to be Rockstar, so that's still infringing it because it's too close to what they've already got. Because I know going off topic here, but there was something the other day that come out about Sky infringing someone else's copyright because so it's all if there's any link or likelihood it can still infringe the copyright and all the intellectual property rules. It's a really hard because it's intangible. It's really hard to grasp it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the trouble the BBC have got is they've pretty much come out and announced they were planning to make this regarding this game. So if anything comes out similar, there'll be pointing going, well, it's clearly Grand Theft Auto and Rockstar, because you were playing this in the start with.
Because if they just go right, well, we'll just go through and edit it out. Yeah. So instead of going Rockstar, you hear somebody go Rockstar over it. It'll just be a bit like, wow, it's going to be hard for them to justify, but it'll be an interesting one to follow.
Yeah, and hopefully the trouble with these things, they do tend to take a while before they gather momentum and the facts are out there as to what they're disputing and what the lawsuit's about. So, it's something that we can keep an eye on and perhaps report back on. But that's a wrap now. If you guys at home want to get in contact with us, you can do via Twitter. It's @Dimp Digital. You can like our Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/Dimp Digital, or email us using dimpdigitalmedia@gmail.com. Get involved and get in contact with us, and remember to check out the Dimp Digital YouTube channel. We've got some fantastic video content going up all the time, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss out. That's it for now. Game over. It's goodbye from Logan.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Hall.
Nah.
It's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time, and ta-da. What's happened to me and Pete? It's a career ender, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm going to have a shower because I haven't had one today.
Poor Biff last night, though, was literally...
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Paul must have been whispering to Andy, and he goes, I'm going to have a shower in a bit because I haven't had a shower today. It's 7:30 in the evening.
What's the point? Just write that off.
That is incredible.
What? It's about time I had one, that was all.
It is about time you had one.
I will do my best not to shower. I'll probably have one... I've got to go out tomorrow during the day, but after that I'm going to do my best not to have to do anything else.
Why?
Because I know it sounds stupid, but I have to shower every day, and it's become such a chore.
Why is that stupid?
No, because you just
how can you call my blood
thing
illogical and you're coming out with that tripe?